Imagine being one of the largest ethnic groups in the world, yet without a country to call your own. A people who have survived empires, betrayals, and wars, but still hold on to their language, land, and dreams. Welcome to the story of the Kurds. In today's video, we take you deep into the lives of over 30 million Kurds scattered across the Middle East, exploring their history, culture, identity, and ongoing struggle for a homeland. I'm your host from Somsphere. If you love powerful stories and hidden histories, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell, because this is a story you won't hear in mainstream headlines. Who are the Kurds? The Kurds are an Indo-European ethnic group indigenous to a region historically known as Kurdistan, which spans eastern Turkey, northern Syria, northern Iraq, northwestern Iran, and parts of Armenia. They are not Arabs, Persians, or Turks, but a distinct people with their own rich language, traditions, and ancient heritage dating back thousands of years. Kurds are one of the largest ethnic groups in the world without a nation-state, estimated at 30 to 40 million people worldwide. History and origins. The Kurdish story begins in ancient Mesopotamia. Some historians trace their roots to the Medes, an ancient Iranian people who ruled parts of what is now Iran and Iraq. Over centuries, the Kurds have lived under various empires, the Ottoman Empire, the Safavid dynasty, and later under the modern nation-states that formed after World War I. After the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, Western powers promised Kurds a state under the Treaty of Sèvres, 1920, but that promise was never fulfilled. Instead, the Treaty of Lausanne, 1923, ignored Kurdish independence, dividing Kurdistan across multiple countries. And so began a century-long struggle for recognition, autonomy, and dignity. Why don't they have a country? The answer lies in geopolitics. Each country that holds Kurdish lands, Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and Syria, feared the rise of Kurdish nationalism. Their attempts to suppress Kurdish identity ranged from language bans, military crackdowns, and mass displacement to outright massacres like the Halabja chemical attack in Iraq, 1988, which killed thousands. The Kurdish dream of independence is seen as a threat by these nations, which is why Kurdistan remains a nation without borders, despite numerous uprisings and referendums. Culture and traditions. The Kurdish culture is incredibly rich. Their traditional clothing is colorful and symbolic, especially during Nowruz, the Kurdish New Year, celebrated every March 21. They're known for their epic poetry, folklore, dances, and music, which often carry themes of resistance and hope. Family and tribal bonds are strong. Hospitality is sacred. Honor is everything. Despite being divided by borders, Kurdish culture remains a unifying force across generations and geography. The language of Kurds people. The Kurdish language is part of the Iranian branch of the Indo-European language family. It has two main dialects: Kurmanji, spoken mainly in Turkey and Syria; Sorani, spoken in Iraq and Iran. Though many Kurds are bilingual, efforts to teach or publish in Kurdish have often been banned or restricted, especially in Turkey and Iran. Still, the language has survived. It's a form of resistance. The religion they follow. Most Kurds are Sunni Muslims, following the Shafi'i school. However, there's also a large number of Yazidis, an ancient religious minority with a unique belief system. There are also Shia Kurds, Alawi Kurds, and Christian Kurds. Kurdish spirituality tends to be tolerant, syncretic, and deeply tied to nature and ancestral traditions. The economy of Kurds people. Kurdish regions are often resource-rich, especially in northern Iraq, where there are vast oil reserves. In spite of this, most Kurdish areas suffer from underdevelopment, unemployment, and lack of investment due to decades of war, sanctions, and political marginalization. Many Kurds rely on agriculture, herding, small trade, or working abroad to support their families. In Iraqi Kurdistan, some economic autonomy has brought relative prosperity, but instability remains a threat. What are Kurds famous for? Kurds are admired for their resilience, bravery, and fierce independence. Their women fighters, known as YPG and YPJ, became global icons during the fight against ISIS in Syria. They're known for beautiful folk music, handicrafts, and rich oral traditions. Despite hardships, they have preserved their identity with dignity and pride. Famous Kurdish people. Some globally known Kurdish figures include Masoud Barzani, Kurdish leader and former president of Iraqi Kurdistan. Saladin, or Salah ad-Din, the legendary warrior who reclaimed Jerusalem in the 11th century, was of Kurdish origin. Heli Love, a Kurdish pop singer and activist. Mahabad Kadragi, a Kurdish poet and nationalist. Bashar Wali, American hotel entrepreneur of Kurdish descent. These names represent the spirit, talent, and dreams of the Kurdish people. Countries they live in. Kurds live across Turkey, 15 million, Iran, 8 million, Iraq, 6 million, Syria, 2 million, plus millions in the diaspora, especially in Germany, Sweden, and the US. Their population is estimated at 30 to 40 million people worldwide. The Kurdish dream. Despite everything, the betrayals, the broken treaties, the oppression, the Kurdish people never gave up on their dream of a homeland. Their struggle is not just for land, but for identity, dignity, and freedom. In 2017, Iraqi Kurds voted overwhelmingly for independence in a referendum, but international politics blocked the move. Still, hope lives on. Kurdistan is not yet on the map, but it lives in the hearts of every Kurd. Kurdish human rights activists and movements, voices of resistance. The Kurdish struggle for rights, recognition, and autonomy has inspired countless movements, political parties, and individual activists across the globe. These voices, often silenced, jailed, or killed, continue to fight for freedom, equality, and dignity. Political and armed movements. PKK, Kurdistan Workers' Party, Turkey. Founded in 1978 by Abdullah Öcalan, the PKK began as a Marxist-Leninist guerrilla group demanding independence for Kurds in Turkey. Over time, its goal evolved into seeking greater autonomy and rights for Kurds within Turkey. The PKK has been labeled a terrorist organization by Turkey, the US, and the EU. However, many Kurds see it as a resistance movement against decades of oppression. KDP, Kurdistan Democratic Party, Iraq. Founded by Mustafa Barzani in 1946, the KDP is a major Kurdish political party in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. It played a key role in the creation of the autonomous Kurdish government in northern Iraq. PUK, Patriotic Union of Kurdistan, Iraq. Founded by Jalal Talabi, the PUK is another major party in Iraqi Kurdistan. Tlaib later became the president of Iraq, the first non-Arab to hold that position. PYD, Democratic Union Party, Syria. This is the main Kurdish political party in northern Syria, Rojava, known for establishing a progressive, secular, and gender-equal autonomous administration during the Syrian civil war. YPG, Syria. The YPG and the YPJ are Kurdish militias that gained international fame for their role in defeating ISIS in Syria. The YPJ especially became a symbol of women's resistance as thousands of Kurdish women took up arms to defend their land and rights. Kurdish human rights activists. Leyla Zana, Turkey. The first Kurdish woman elected to the Turkish parliament. Imprisoned for speaking Kurdish in her oath of office. A symbol of peaceful political resistance and winner of the Sakharov Prize for Freedom of Thought. Abdullah Öcalan, founding leader of the PKK. Imprisoned since 1999, yet still considered a spiritual and ideological leader for many Kurds. Advocated in later years for peaceful solutions and democratic confederalism. Heli Love, a Kurdish pop singer and activist who uses music and media to raise awareness about Kurdish struggles, especially women's rights and the war against ISIS. Asha Abdallah, Syria, a prominent leader of the PYD and advocate for the autonomous Rojava system, focusing on women's rights, minority protection, and grassroots democracy. Shireen Elamhouli, Iran, a Kurdish woman executed by the Iranian regime in 2010. Her letters from prison became a symbol of the Kurdish resistance in Iran. International solidarity. NGOs. Many international human rights organizations support Kurdish rights, including Amnesty International, which has documented human rights abuses against Kurds in Turkey, Iran, and Syria. Human Rights Watch monitors crackdowns on Kurdish political expression. Kurdish Human Rights Project, based in London, offers legal advocacy and research on abuses. The ongoing fight. The Kurdish people's fight for rights is multifaceted. It's not just about land. It's about language, identity, justice, and the freedom to exist. From armed resistance to peaceful protests to international lobbying, the Kurds have shown incredible courage in demanding the rights most take for granted. Their story is still being written by fighters, politicians, poets, and singers, each one a thread in the long fabric of Kurdish resistance. The story of the Kurds is a story of strength, sorrow, and survival. They are a nation without a country, but not without a voice. If this video moved you, share it. Let the world know about the Kurdish people. Subscribe to Somsphere for more powerful stories from forgotten corners of the world. And remember, some stories are not just history, they're still being written.